A frail old man steps onto a dusty road at dawn, his saffron robe glowing softly in the golden light. Behind him, a young monk carries a water vessel, while villagers watch in hushed reverence. You realize this is no ordinary journey. This is the Buddha's final walk. You follow him, your feet stirring the same pale dust. At 80 years old, his body trembles with age, yet his gaze remains steady, sharp as ever. Each step feels deliberate, his pace unhurried, but unyielding. Whispers ripple through the crowd. Why now, when his strength is fading? Some say he knows his end is near. Others believe this is his last lesson, a living teaching of impermanence. The path winds past small villages and quiet fields. You watch Buddha pause beneath an ancient banyan tree, seated simply on the ground. His voice is gentle, clear. All things change. Compassion is your refuge. Walk with diligence. His words feel less like speech and more like ripples spreading through still water, touching everyone gathered around. As the sun climbs higher, you see him offer blessings to farmers kneeling in the dirt, comfort grieving mothers clutching their children, and smile faintly at those who weep in awe. Despite his frailty, he radiates a calm strength, his every gesture an unspoken teaching. This is not just a journey to Kushinagar. It is a pilgrimage through his own mortality, a demonstration of how to walk toward death without fear. You feel it as you trail behind him, the weight of his steps pressing into the earth, like a seal marking the path you too must one day walk. Here at the beginning of his final journey, you see the truth. The Buddha's last lesson is not in words, but in the way he moves slowly and gracefully toward his own impermanence. You sit beneath the shade of a tree listening as Buddha's voice carries softly through the air. The world feels suspended as if holding its breath. Ananda kneels close, his brow furrowed with worry. Then, in words clear and unwavering, the Buddha declares, 3 months from now, the Tathagata will pass into final nirvana. The weight of those words hangs in the silence. You see Ananda's eyes widen, his lips part, as if to protest, but he cannot. For years he has walked at his teacher's side, yet nothing has prepared him for this moment. Buddha's calm is startling. He speaks of relinquishing the will to live not out of despair, but acceptance. He explains how life itself is like a flame, bright, warm, but never permanent. You realize he is not only predicting his death, he is inviting you to see what it means to meet it without fear. In the days that follow, you watch as Buddha arranges his affairs with serene precision. He settles disputes among monks, offers guidance to lay followers, and gives Ananda gentle counsel. He even speaks of his own funeral, not with dread, but with the same equanimity he has always taught. Here you witness something extraordinary. His dying is not a retreat, but a continuation of his teaching. It is a final living lesson in impermanence, compassion, and awareness. You imagine what it would feel like to know the exact day of your death. Would you resist it, deny it, or like him turn it into wisdom? Watching Buddha's steady gaze, you feel a strange peace settle over you. He is not vanishing into nothingness. He is showing the way forward, step by step, even now. And as the sun dips low, painting the horizon in gold and rose, you begin to see his final journey not as an ending, but as the most profound expression of the path he has walked all his life. You follow Buddha and Ananda into the quiet village of Pava. The air is cool, scented with earth after recent rain. Here, a humble metalworker named Kunda steps forward, his hands trembling with reverence. He invites Buddha to share a meal in his home, an offering born of devotion, unaware that it will soon become one of the most debated moments in history. You watch as Kunda prepares a dish called Sukara Madhava. Some say it is tender pork, others a rare mushroom delicacy. Whatever its nature, Buddha accepts it with a serene smile, blessing the food before eating. His movements are deliberate, mindful, as though this simple act carries profound meaning. Afterward, as the day wanes, a shadow falls. Buddha's body weakens sharply, racked by severe pain and dysentery. His skin pales, his breath shortens, yet his eyes remain luminous, steady. Concern ripples through the disciples, but Buddha speaks first, not of himself, but of Kunda. He turns to Ananda and says softly, "Tell him not to regret. Offering my last meal is an act of great merit." In that moment, you see compassion outshine suffering. Even in illness, his thoughts are not of his own agony, but of shielding another from sorrow. The journey resumes despite his pain. You watch him rise, his steps slower than ever, pausing often to rest beneath trees. Still he presses forward toward Kushinagar. His persistence transforms into another silent teaching that even on the edge of death, the path is walked with courage, mindfulness, and grace. Whispers grow among the disciples. Was the meal poisoned? Was this fate or accident? Yet Buddha himself dismisses all suspicion. His illness becomes not a tale of treachery, but a lesson in acceptance, accepting what life offers without resistance or blame. As you walk behind him, you feel a quiet shift. His suffering does not diminish him, it magnifies him. Here is the proof of his teaching lived fully. Even in pain, there is no fear, only a serene surrender to the impermanence of all things. You arrive with Buddha and the disciples at Kushinagar, a quiet town cradled by the foothills of the Himalayas. The journey has been long and harsh, yet Buddha's presence remains steady, his calm unbroken, even as his body falters. The sun is sinking low, casting amber light across the fields, when he instructs Ananda, prepare a resting place between the two sal trees. You walk to the grove he has chosen. The sal trees stand tall and graceful, their trunks weathered by time. Strangely though, it is not their season. Pale blossoms begin to open petals, falling like soft snow around him. You feel the air grow still, almost sacred, as if nature itself recognizes this moment. Buddha lies down on his right side, his head pointing north. His robe is simple saffron against the darkening earth. He rests his head on his hand, his face serene, gazing toward the horizon. Ananda kneels beside him, his shoulders trembling, tears unspilled, but heavy in his eyes. All compounded things are subject to decay, Buddha says softly. Strive with diligence. His words are gentle, yet they cut through the silence like a bell, a final reminder of impermanence. You see Ananda bow deeply, his forehead pressing into the ground. In the fading light, monks gather around their robes, forming a circle of muted reds and yellows. The sal petals drift over them like a blessing, as if the world is quietly bowing too. The air feels charged yet profoundly peaceful. You watch the sun set beyond the grove, the sky aflame in shades of gold and violet. This place, so ordinary mere hours ago, is now transformed into a sacred stage. Here beneath blooming sal trees, an enlightened being prepares to leave the world not in fear or resistance, but with perfect equanimity. The hush deepens. You feel it in your chest. This is not simply a deathbed. It is the closing of a circle. The Buddha was born beneath trees, awakened beneath trees, and now beneath trees he will pass beyond all becoming. You sit among the silent rows of monks in the grove of sal trees. The air is heavy with anticipation. Buddha, frail yet luminous, turns his gaze first to Ananda, his most devoted attendant. Ananda kneels closer, his face shadowed with grief. His eyes brim with tears he dares not shed. Buddha speaks softly his words. Tender, you have done much good, Ananda. Through your care many have heard the Dharma. Do not let sorrow cloud your mind. Strive for your own awakening. His tone is neither command nor plea. It is love distilled into wisdom. You watch Ananda bow deeply, his forehead touching the earth. His shoulders tremble. This is not just a teacher to him, but a guide, a friend. Yet Buddha reminds him, and all who listen, that even the deepest bonds must yield to impermanence. Then Buddha turns his attention to the Sangha gathered around him. His voice, though quiet, carries across the grove. If any among you have doubt concerning the Buddha, the Dharma, or the Sangha, ask now. Do not regret later that you missed the chance. The grove is silent, no questions come. His disciples, after years of guidance, have no uncertainty left. Their silence is a testament not to fear, but to the clarity of his teaching. Buddha then offers what will be known as the 4 great references, to test any claim of his words against the sutras and the discipline. To measure truth by the Dharma itself, not mere opinion. To trust what is consistent with his teachings. To let wisdom, not blind tradition, be the guide. These final instructions are simple, yet profound, a safeguard for the Dharma after his passing. His words feel less like farewells, and more like a passing torch ensuring the light endures. You glance around. The monks sit unmoving, their faces serene but tear-streaked. In the fading light, Buddha's presence feels both human and timeless. Even as death approaches his last teachings, cut through fear like sunlight through mist. Then with deep compassion he consoles Ananda once more. Everything that arises must pass away. Even this body is no exception. In that moment, you feel a deep stillness spread across the grove. The Buddha is teaching not just with words, but with his very being. Here on the edge of death, he shows what it means to let go completely and to be free. Night settles over the grove of sal trees. The air is cool, fragrant with blossoms that continue to fall in silent cascades, their pale petals drifting over saffron robes like snow. You sit among the gathered disciples, their forms still and reverent as the faint glow of oil lamps illuminates the grove. Buddha lies, reclined, his breathing shallow but steady. His eyes open calm and bright as ever, and he calls for Ananda, who sits faithfully at his side. You see Ananda's trembling hands clasped tightly as he fights his sorrow. Then Buddha's voice, gentle yet unyielding, breaks the silence. Ananda, do not mourn me. Everything that arises must pass away. Even this body is subject to decay. His words settle into the night like falling petals. Ananda bows low, his tears wetting the earth, but you notice a subtle change in his face, a deep acceptance blooming where grief had been. Suddenly a messenger approaches and whispers, an ascetic named Subhada has come seeking the Dharma. Ananda protective hesitates, but Buddha intervenes. Let him come. Even now, if one seeks truth, I will teach. Moments later, Subhada enters, kneels before the Buddha, and listens as the dying teacher speaks one last discourse. His words are brief but piercing, cutting through illusion with the same clarity they always have. Subhada's face transforms, illumined by sudden realization. In mere moments, he becomes Buddha's final disciple, awakened at the very edge of his teacher's life. You feel awe settle in the grove. Even as death nears, Buddha's compassion does not falter. Then silence. Buddha closes his eyes and begins to meditate. You watch as he passes through the jhanas, the deep states of concentration. His breath slows, his body utterly still, and yet there is a subtle radiance that seems to emanate from him, a soft glow beneath the moonlight, as though the earth itself is holding its breath. The night deepens. The disciples remain unmoving, their faces lit by flickering lamps and moonlight streaming through the branches. Suddenly the ground trembles faintly, and a hushed murmur ripples through the assembly. You sense it too, a quiet shift in the air like the universe leaning closer. Buddha opens his eyes one final time, gazing upon his disciples with infinite compassion. His lips move, and you hear the words that will echo for millennia. Now, monks, I declare to you all, conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence. Then with a slow, steady exhalation, he enters Parinirvana. His breath fades, the grove falls silent, time itself seems to stop. A single sal petal drifts down, landing softly upon his still chest. You realize you are witnessing not just a death, but a passage, a doorway into the infinite. Dawn breaks gently over the grove of sal trees. The first rays of sunlight filter through the branches, illuminating a scene of profound stillness. Buddha's body rests motionless, serene, draped in his simple saffron robe. Around him, the disciples remain seated in silence, some with tear-streaked faces, others composed yet deeply moved. The night's quiet has given way to a soft bird song, but the world feels changed, as if it has shifted into a new era. Ananda rises slowly, his grief etched deep but tempered now by understanding. His voice is steady as he turns to the assembled monks. The Blessed One has passed into Parinirvana. His words hang in the morning air, both heavy and liberating. Some younger monks cry openly, their sobs echoing through the grove. They lament, "Too soon has the Blessed One left us." Their sorrow pierces the quiet, raw and human. Yet others seasoned in years of practice sit still, as stone faces calm, embodying the equanimity Buddha had long taught. Among them, Mahakassapa and Anuruddha gently remind the grieving, "Did he not tell us this would come? All things that arise must pass away." The grove soon fills with devotees from nearby villages carrying flowers, incense, and offerings. The Mala clan guardians of Kuchinagar arrive to honor the Buddha. For 7 days, they transform the grove into a place of reverence surrounding his body, with garlands of jasmine and marigold, filling the air with chanting and the steady hum of drums and flutes. You watch as his funeral rites unfold with solemn grace. His body is wrapped in countless layers of cloth, anointed with fragrant oils, and placed upon a sandalwood pyre. As the flames rise, the sal petals continue to fall, glowing softly in the firelight, a celestial rain of tribute. When the pyre cools, relics remain fragments of bone and ash luminous against the darkened wood. These are divided among kingdoms and enshrined in stupas across the land, marking the birth of pilgrimage sites that will endure for millennia. In the days that follow, the First Buddhist Council convenes. Monks gather to preserve his words, reciting his teachings aloud, committing them to memory. Here the Dharma, his living voice, becomes their anchor, ensuring his wisdom survives beyond his physical form. As you stand in the quiet aftermath, the truth becomes clear: the Buddha is gone, yet not gone. His death was not an end, but a beginning. His presence lingers in the stillness of the grove, in the chants of the monks, in the dawn light bathing the earth. You close your eyes, breathing deeply. His final words echo within you. All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence. And suddenly you feel it, not despair, but freedom. In his passing, Buddha has left a map, a way to live, to let go, to awaken. His body may be gone, but his path shines brighter than ever, inviting you, and all who follow, to walk it with courage and mindfulness.